Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this cold and icy Sunday edition of Speak Your Mind with Larry Cox. Great to have you guys who have decided to join me this evening. As usual, if you could share, like the show. Let's anybody who wants to watch this evening, and anybody who doesn't and wants to just stay away and hibernate in this cold, good for you as well. So I want to thank everybody for joining me this evening, and I'll start off by saying hello to some friends who have joined me in the chat. And if you've not said hello in the chat, go ahead and say hello in the chat so we know that you're there as well. So good evening. We have Miss Avuka Russo. Great to have you here. And we have Charlotte Gellin. And Charlotte, I will address that synchronous here in a second. James Corbett, great to have you here today. Cheryl Moulton, great to have you. William Campbell, great for you to be here. And Mary Boysworth, great for you to be here today. So it is called synchronous when you have the virtual learning and you have the teacher and the student both live at the same time, thus synchronizing. So it is synchronous learning. So you have that's what the what I was told the definition of that was. So that was something that we discussed that somebody and I discussed today. So so that we were on the same page with that. Stacy Bonner Lewis, thank you for joining this evening. So I want to start off by we all know it's cold and a little wet out there. So roads aren't all that they're not bad right now, but as the temperatures fall tonight and we still have that moisture out there on the ground and on the roads, then I think we will develop some icy conditions late overnight until early tomorrow morning. So be cautious. If you don't have to be out, don't get out. I would say tomorrow afternoon, I think once the sun comes out and the temperatures get above freezing, I think we will be fine. But just so you all know, I would look for or in the morning to mid morning tomorrow, we could have some hazardous driving conditions. So if you must be out, be careful. But if you don't have to be, wait till noon or so to get out tomorrow. That's my advice. So we also have the city of Conyers government will be closed tomorrow. Rockdale County government will be closed tomorrow. There will be no in-person at the Rockdale County school system. Everybody will be remote, and we will have the synchronous learning tomorrow, Charlotte, which means the educators and the students will all be online together doing that. So that's what because if you have one of those independent learning days, then you don't have the synchronous learning. So that's what we have. So that's that. So we all know what's going on there. We know that basically county government, city government, and the Board of Education is shut down tomorrow for in-person. So just so you all know that, that I have seen emergency crews out and about doing things in the county, doing a good job like they should be doing. I have firsthand personally noticed that. So just wanted you all guys to know that. So last week I enjoyed the show last week, and I didn't mention something last week because I usually don't mention it until after I come back from somewhere because I don't like people to know that maybe I've traveled and not going to be at home. But I did travel last week. Just so you all know, I had a trade show, and I traveled to Las Vegas last week and spent Monday through Thursday in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Convention Center for the World of Concrete, which is something that I try to do annually. It's a big show for our business type that happens once a year. I enjoy the show. I meet up with colleagues from all over the country, and we take classes, and it's a good time to really get to know some things about the concrete world. So it was a good show. I enjoyed it, and just let you guys know that I was away from Rockdale for a few days, but I still took phone calls. I still answered constituent service. Constituents had issues, still answered those emails and phone calls. So just let you know, even though I might not physically be in Rockdale County at sometimes, I am still working on your behalf. Just want you to know that. Knock on wood. So also, I want you to know that, I think the next few weeks, the legislative session is going to be in full gear. There's going to be some things going on, some tax legislations. I'm going to be following those. I will be reporting those to you each Sunday. This past week was like budget week at the Capitol. Not a lot of movement with bills and such. But this coming week, that should be different. And we should see a lot of movement and a lot of discussion and such with bills and legislation. So we'll see what goes on. And as the legislative session moves and there may be some local things that occur, we'll be discussing those things on this show also to keep you abreast of what's going on at the state capitol, because we all have to realize what goes on at that state capitol during those 40 days of that legislative session. They impact you as citizens of Rockdale County. Very, very good. Yes, we will get into the school legislation later on. I mean, we will dive into that and help people understand the new legislation. We will definitely do that. I think I will dedicate a show here in a few weeks. We will talk about that legislation that the state opted in for with those tax credits and such like that. Corliss, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give midway through session to go up there, and I'll talk about that piece of legislation, which was federal legislation, which was attached to the big beautiful bill, and we will talk about state bills that are progressing through the legislature and how they can impact local education also. So what I plan on doing is do like a local education show here. Like I said, let's wait till we get somewhat through the sessions so we have a good idea of what bills look like they have a good chance of passing this year in Atlanta under the Gold Dome. And then we will combine that show with talking about this legislation that the Georgia opted into also. I think, that's something I wanted to do this year anyway, and you went ahead and drawed it out that that's something I intend on doing. And also, I just want you guys to know. So, Mr. Jesus Lopez has been joining us on the show some, and he's a young man, and he's intending on running for the Board of Education this year. And he and I had a long conversation. Crossover Day is, I'll let you know when that is because I got to look at the calendar and see when that is. What we may do is wait to after Crossover Day to do that, and I'll tell you why. Because if a bill doesn't make it to Crossover Day and doesn't cross over, then it has no chance of passing. So we want to wait to Crossover Day till we discuss this, and I'll let you guys know when that is. Next week we'll talk about what day that will be that we schedule that for what Crossover Day is, and we'll set that date that we'll have that discussion on the show. But like I said, we'll talk about that for next week, and then I would say that's going to be late. It'll be late February is when I would say, that we'll have that show. I'd say it'll be late February, but I will for sure let you guys know next Sunday when we'll have that education show. But let me get back to what I was talking about, Mr. Lopez. So Mr. Lopez and I had a long conversation, and I told Mr. Lopez if he indeed did end up qualifying to run for a Board of Education seat after March the 6th, that he would be more than welcome to come on the show and talk to us about his concerns about education in Rockdale County and why he will have at that point decided to run. So, George says it's in March 3/6/26. So I definitely do not want to talk about the education stuff till after crossover day because because there's no use to talk about things beforehand that don't even don't have a chance of becoming reality. So we'll schedule a show after crossover day to be able to talk about some stuff like that. That's my plan. But like I said, I was mentioning Mr. Lopez, so we will look at having him as a guest on the show because he does want to talk about his concerns about education for Rockdale County. And I'll be honest with you, with listening to Jesus the other day and in the conversation we had, his what he wants to campaign on. Different guy. This is Jesus Lopez, and he is actually would be running for the Board of Education, and he's not on the city council. It's another young man. So so that's who would be running for the Board of Education. So he's a different gentleman, but he would be he wants to come on and discuss that those possibilities. So we'll see what goes on with that. It'll be good to have him. But I told him he's got to qualify before I agree that he can be on the show. He needs to qualify for that seat, and then we'll let him come on the show and talk about why he has decided to run for the Board of Education. But yeah, I think it'll be very interesting about what goes on this year. Anthony Pachinko is the gentleman who is the city council member. Yes. So there is one piece of legislation I want to talk about because a lot of people in Rockdale County, I've heard this for years, complain about their HOAs. So I don't know, some of you folks that are on here tonight who have attended Representative Taylor's meetings at the library, Representative Viola Davis, who represents the Stonecrest area in DeKalb County, who will come to those meetings sometimes to be there. Ms. Davis and some other legislators are spearheading an effort to look at introducing legislation to put some regulation on HOAs. So just to know if you guys were not aware that HOAs are not regulated in the state of Georgia. They do not answer to any state agency, and there is no state agency that you can complain or file a grievance against an HOA. So, and then you find out that if you owe state law currently, if you owe $2,000 in fees or fines to an HOA, they can begin foreclosure procedures on your property, on your home. That's a bit much, right? So you've got Representative Davis and some other legislators who are looking at that, and they're going to have a Zoom meeting on the 23rd, and I'll put that on the page later this week. I may go tomorrow and put some information out on the page about if how to register and go to that Zoom meeting they're going to have this Friday, the 23rd. No, that was this past Friday. My bad. They had it this past Friday, the 23rd. So I was going to reach out and see if they would have another Zoom meeting because I wasn't aware of this until today. But yeah, I was going to reach out to them and see if they could do another one. They do want people to come to the state capitol, and they do want you guys to send them emails and letters about your concerns, because they did say of the people who have written to them and have concerns about it, there are a high number of people who have they have lawsuits against their HOA. There are a great number of people who the HOAs have begun foreclosure procedures on. I mean, do you think someone should have their home foreclosed on because they owe HOA fines? So, and then, Miss Root, I'm going to put this up here. Miss Ruco said this is valid, Miss Russo. So, HOA can be devastating to homeowners. Also, they can sue you for thousands of dollars for not clearing up your yard for leaves. So, and let's just be it, they're just a group of your neighbors. And a group of your neighbors have an issue with you, they can make a mountain out of a molehill, right? So they can actually fabricate or take small issues that are meaningless, accumulate these fines on you, sue you, and foreclose on your home. No individuals should have that authority. Charlotte says Michelle Bernard, a candidate for BOC, won her suit against her HOA for $40K. So that that no HOA should have the authority or the ability to foreclose on your home. That's my personal opinion about that. And I have never wanted to live in an HOA, never lived in an HOA community, and would never live in an HOA a community, because I am not going to put myself at risk for neighbors who may take a beef against me for something I've said or done. And let's get real, people. I don't think it would be a good idea for me to live in an HOA, because somebody might take issue with something I've said or done. And I'm not willing to take that risk, And James Colbert, some HOAs think they have more authority than they actually do. And so that, that's, something we all have to look at, right? So I don't, I am very interested in this piece of legislation, and I support Ms. Davis's and the other legislators' efforts in curtailing and calming down these HOAs. Yeah, Mary Boysworth said it's just too much paperwork to file these paperwork. So, I agree with that. So then I also, did you guys notice? Let's talk about garbage a little bit, right? So I noticed that the recycling center has really revamped that whole thing. You can get a yearly pass. You can do your recycling at no charge, and also they now have the a la carte options if you don't want to get the yearly pass and want to pay as you go. And they did increase the fees. So, I did hear people say they think some of the individual fees were a little high, but you got what you wanted, citizens of Rockdale County. You've got all the options that you asked for. You got a la carte, you got recycling being at no cost, and you got the ability to pay the yearly fee. And seniors at $100 and everybody else at $150. So I look at that a win for the citizens. The government did listen, they compromised, and they did what you asked. So I look at that as a win-win for the citizens of Rockdale County, going to local government saying, you maybe should have talked to us before you decided this. Talk to us, see what we want, because you guys may be sitting in those seats, but those are our seats, and those seats are there for you to listen to us. So $1 would be $5 for a bag. So, but this is what I recommend. Instead of doing the small, tall kitchen bag, fill it up in one of the big giant contractor bags, and you can put 3 or 4, or maybe 5 tall kitchen bags in one contractor bag, and that's one garbage bag. So just, more than one way to skin a cat. So take a large contractor bag, a large garbage bag. So just saying, get a larger garbage bag that'll fit 2 or 3 small bags in it. My recommendation. not trying to teach you how to circumvent the system, but maybe game the system, right? So, Tortoise turning my 40 gallon bag is $1. So, but yeah, so that's what I would recommend, right? That's just what I would say. Then also some local news. Did you guys notice that the governor did put his commission together to decide to have the commission give him a recommendation about Representative Henderson in Newton County? Remember, her first term, she did represent Rockdale County when she defeated Miss Dickerson, who represented a portion of Rockdale and Newton. But the governor did suspend Sharon Henderson this week, who had been accused of the misappropriation of some COVID dollars through the unemployment program back in the COVID time period. So the governor did suspend her pending her trial. So Representative Henderson has been suspended by the governor. Of course, a 40-gallon bag holds 3 kitchen bags. So get you an 80-gallon contractor bag, and that'll hold 60 kitchen bags. So just saying, So beef that thing up. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Alana Sanders is now running. She's running for BOC Post 2, Corliss? I'll wait for an answer for that. So not certain, So I'm assuming that, yeah. Oh, so she's running for. Wasn't she the former commissioner? That's who she was, right? She was the former commissioner in Newton County, so she's running for that state rep seat. Yeah. So the governor will call a special election for that, and once he suspended her 10 days, call a special election for that seat. That's what he'll do. So yep, that will happen. So we'll see that because they'll have a special election and then we'll have a regular election too. So that'll be interesting. See what happens with that. What else you guys got for me out there tonight? So, we've been on here about a half hour, and I have talked about HOAs, and I've talked about garbage, talked about politicians being suspended. We talked about the weather. What do you guys have that you would like to talk about here this evening? And we will see. She's come to several of Representative Taylor's meetings at the library. I've seen her and talked to her there. So, but yeah, guys, it'll be interesting to see what happens over there with that seat. Like I said, and I think it'll be interesting to have some conversations about some legislation that looks like it's going to move through the state and the Senate, and what'll end up eventually being on the governor's desk, and how it's going to impact you as citizens of Rockdale County. But yeah, I mean, I am interested in what's going on this year, just like the rest of you, right? And I'll be right here on the show. We'll be covering all this stuff, and we'll be discussing it. And I think it'll be lively, entertaining conversation that I think we will enjoy as a community. Yes, Justin has signs all over, and I helped Justin last week deliver signs to people, and they did put a news release out regarding that, Cheryl. So I mean, I know we did put a press release out and that was released to the local media. So, don't know why or why not, but I know it has been on social media, and I do know that they have put a local news release out, because I do know that our superintendent yesterday met with all the metro superintendents, and they discussed what was going on in the metro area and what, as a collective, how to handle the weather situation. So I do know the Rockdale County Public School System did put out that information. And Stacy Bonner Lewis said that the local stations did report it, and I do know for a fact that the local media was notified through a press release. So if the school system can't make these media sources report it more than they're willing to. Rockdale County Public Schools did release a press release to the media, and it is up to the media to then report it. We cannot make them report things. Just want to make that clear to everyone. And then Stacy has said that she has seen where local media has reported. And Samantha, teachers have been prepping them all week. So Samantha, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but you guys have been sending the laptops and the tablets have been coming home with the kids all week long, so that they can be ready if they have to do that virtual synchronous learning, which they are going to do tomorrow. And we do have minimal power issues in the county right now, so that should not be an issue. And that was a concern of mine. What if the power goes out? What do we do at that point? And I understand that they have made plans for that also. So I am satisfied with all the work that our district has done behind the scenes to prepare for this bad weather situation. So just so you know, I think everything has been handled and taken care of appropriately on those fronts. So I think we're good. So yeah, they for sure that they have been making sure they've had access to Teams and everything, and I think they've discussed with them how to make sure that they could how to charge them, keep them charged, how to connect. So I think there was a lot of prep work that was going on this week in preparing for the possibility of weather and them not being able to come back for the weekend. And then also that they had the plans to upload to the Canvas, so they have access to assignments even if they have connectivity issues. So there were contingency plans made also. So I think we were well prepared, well taken care of, and it's good to be prepared, and it's good to have people in place that that know what they're doing and are able to prepare for these situations. But yeah, that's good to know, right? Good to know. And where else would you have this kind of conversation other than on Speak Your Mind with Larry Cox? You wouldn't have these kind of conversations. You wouldn't have this conversation and know these kinds of things. And then principals also called parents tonight and gave specific information. So so that that's going on using the parent square. I mean, so everybody is being informed of what they need to do. So Kelly Farr, I guess COVID ruined the snow day. So if you need a snow day, the ability to cancel is definitely there. But with the way the schedules run today, and with the requirements that the state throw in there, that you have to have so many instructional days and such, then that's the world we live in now, right? That's the world we live in. And if things do get so bad, we do have days built in, like those fall breaks and winter breaks and all those days and everything. If they need to, they can take days away from those because those are not necessary to really have. And if we would need to, for some reason, really close, then we could close and just take one of those days away. That's also an option. So no big deal there. So, but that's the gist of what's going on this evening. So I think since we've got this cold, wintry day, and I actually have my office on the 2 hour late schedule tomorrow. So we're not rolling in until mid morning because we're going to give the roads a little bit of a chance to clear up in the morning also. So I have the 2 hour delay thing going on with mine. George, I think the plan is for everything to go back to normal Tuesday, but I think we will know tomorrow if that's going to happen because Monday night's temperatures are supposed to be extremely frigid. They're supposed to be in the mid-teens with wind chill factors being down in the single digits. So I think we'll wait and see what happens if the moisture dries up and what these frigid temperatures do. I think that's a wait and see for Tuesday also. I think people will make decisions by tomorrow evening about what goes on Tuesday. So just stand by and wait for those decisions to be made. So I am going to let all of you off this evening. I am going to get off of here myself. I am going to go through the house, and me and Tucker Cox are going to sit on our chair and watch some TV this evening. So that's what we're going to do. And just so you all know, Tucker Cox has to have a little procedure this week on Tuesday. So all of you that pray for our little four-legged friends like Tucker, Tucker Cox is my dog, if you people don't know, and he's the son I never had. So just so you know, Tucker's going to have a little procedure this week. And if we could just all say a little prayer for Tucker this week as he gets his procedure this Tuesday. And that's all I've got to say this evening. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me tonight. And I can't wait to see you guys all next Sunday on Facebook and YouTube. Speak Your Mind with host Larry Cox. Thank you again. Good night, and see you next weekend.